The only way to deal with an unfree world is to become so absolutely free that your very existence is an act of rebellion. I would rather live my life as if there is a God and die to find out there isn't, than live as if there isn't and to die to find out that there is. You will never be happy if you continue to search for what happiness consists of. You will never live if you are looking for the meaning of life. Beauty is unbearable, drives us to despair, offering us for a minute the glimpse of an eternity that we should like to stretch out over the whole of time. The struggle itself towards the heights is enough to fill a man's heart. One must imagine Sisyphus happy. A man's work is nothing but this slow trek to rediscover, through the detours of art, those 2 or 3 great and simple images in whose presence his heart first opened. All great deeds and all great thoughts have a ridiculous beginning. Great works are often born on a street corner or in a restaurant's revolving door. It is necessary to fall in love, if only to provide an alibi for all the random despair you are going to feel anyway. The modern mind is in complete disarray. Knowledge has stretched itself to the point where neither the world nor our intelligence can find any foothold. It is a fact that we are suffering from nihilism. Truth, like light, blinds. Falsehood, on the contrary, is a beautiful twilight that enhances every object. Without culture, and the relative freedom it implies, society, even when perfect, is but a jungle. This is why any authentic creation is a gift to the future. Truth is mysterious, elusive, always to be conquered. Liberty is dangerous, as hard to live with as it is elating. We must march toward these 2 goals, painfully but resolutely, certain in advance of our failings on so long a road. A free press can, of course, be good or bad, but, most certainly without freedom, the press will never be anything but bad. Each generation doubtless feels called upon to reform the world. Mine knows that it will not reform it, but its task is perhaps even greater. It consists in preventing the world from destroying itself. The evil that is in the world almost always comes of ignorance, and good intentions may do as much harm as malevolence if they lack understanding. For if there is a sin against life, it consists perhaps not so much in despairing of life as in hoping for another life and in eluding the implacable grandeur of this life. We always deceive ourselves twice about the people we love, first to their advantage, then to their disadvantage. Basically, at the very bottom of life, which seduces us all, there is only absurdity, and more absurdity. And maybe that's what gives us our joy for living, because the only thing that can defeat absurdity is lucidity. Truly fertile music, the only kind that will move us, that we shall truly appreciate, will be a music conducive to dream, which banishes all reason and analysis. One must not wish first to understand and then to feel. Art does not tolerate reason. There is in me an anarchy and frightful disorder. Creating makes me die 1,000 deaths, because it means making order, and my entire being rebels against order. But without it I would die, scattered to the winds. In order to exist, man must rebel, but rebellion must respect the limits that it discovers in itself, limits where minds meet, and in meeting, begin to exist. The gods had condemned Sisyphus to ceaselessly rolling a rock to the top of a mountain, whence the stone would fall back of its own weight. They had thought with some reason that there is no more dreadful punishment than futile and hopeless labor. We get into the habit of living before acquiring the habit of thinking. In that race which daily hastens us towards death, the body maintains its irreparable lead. Judging whether life is or is not worth living amounts to answering the fundamental question of philosophy. The world is never quiet, even its silence eternally resounds with the same notes and vibrations which escape our ears. As for those that we perceive, they carry sounds to us, occasionally a chord, never a melody. I grew up with the sea, and poverty for me was sumptuous. Then I lost the sea and found all luxuries gray and poverty unbearable. Lying is not only saying what isn't true. It is also, in fact especially, saying more than is true and, in the case of the human heart, saying more than one feels. We all do it, every day, to make life simpler. At 30, a man should know himself like the palm of his hand, know the exact number of his defects and qualities, know how far he can go, foretell his failures, be what he is. And, above all, accept these things. To correct a natural indifference, I was placed halfway between misery and the sun. Misery kept me from believing that all was well under the sun, and the sun taught me that history wasn't everything. Note, besides, that it is no more immoral to directly rob citizens than to slip indirect taxes into the price of goods that they cannot do without.